Welcome back. Today's explainer is all about ditching that whole viral guesswork routine and shifting your e-commerce strategy to a real, structured, data-driven process. We are unpacking a super interesting resource today called the Ecommerce Data Kit, recently reviewed by ClickRatina for 2026. If you've ever felt just completely overwhelmed trying to nail down a profitable online niche, you are absolutely in the right place. We're literally going to look at how you can use the raw data from tens of thousands of stores to do market research the right way. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap. First, the niche guessing trap. Second, mapping 70,000 Shopify stores. Third, step-by-step niche validation. Fourth, what the data is missing. And finally, number 5, the final verdict.
Section 1, the niche guessing trap. So seriously, why do so many Shopify beginners fail? The sources point out a pretty harsh truth. Most folks don't fail because they're lazy or lack motivation, right? They fail because of their very first major business decision, picking a niche. They base it on a gut feeling rather than actual market context. They're just jumping in completely blind. And this perfectly illustrates the problem. We have what the sources call the guru way. This is that whole chaotic process we've all seen, watching random YouTube videos, saving viral TikToks, basically just copying the same outdated listicles everybody else is reading. You end up with like 17 browser tabs open, a massive headache, and absolutely zero clarity. But then, look at the reality. Real success requires structured market research. It's about analyzing real, organized data so you actually understand the landscape before you drop a single dime on inventory or ads.
Moving on to Section 2. Mapping 70,000 Shopify stores.
$351 billion. Let that sink in. According to the industry data and our sources, that is the projected size of the global dropshipping market in 2026 alone. Keep that massive number in mind because it really highlights why structured, careful research is absolutely crucial right now. The market is huge, and taking a random guess, well, that's just a really expensive mistake waiting to happen. To really grasp the scale here, let's look at the broader ecosystem. We're talking about roughly 7 million global Shopify stores, with about 55% of those based right here in the US. Plus, dropshipping is growing at a crazy rate of 22 to 25% all the way to 2030. And Shopify, they hold a massive 30% share of that specific market. Now, obviously, manually clicking through millions of stores one by one to find a niche is a total time sink. You need a map for this giant ocean. And that brings us to the solution highlighted in the review, the e-commerce data kit. For a one-time fee of $27, this thing acts as that curated map. Instead of aimlessly wandering the web, you get a downloadable database packed with over 70,000 real US-based Shopify stores. It brilliantly organizes this absolute ocean of information so you can actually study what real, functioning businesses look like behind the scenes. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Section 3, step-by-step niche validation. So the crucial point here is this exact 4-step playbook. This is pulled right from how experienced operators actually use this data. Step 1, open up the database spreadsheet. Step 2, filter by specific category, say pet supplies, or maybe home decor, and instantly check the market density. Are you looking at 50 stores or 5,000? Step 3, visit the top stores currently operating in that exact niche. And finally, step 4, study their structure. How are their product pages laid out? What's their brand positioning like? You're basically validating your niche by seeing exactly who is already out there winning. I love this quote from the ClickRatina review because it perfectly sums up those steps. It says to study existing stores before entering a niche to see the scale and density of competition in that space. By filtering the data and actually seeing how dense the competition is, you stop yourself from blindly walking into an overly saturated market. Plus, it helps you spot those sweet adjacent micro-niches where the competition hasn't quite peaked yet. To pull this off, the kit gives you some fantastic raw materials. You're getting store domains, precise categories, company names, location details, and technology references. But I want you to pay special attention to that contact information piece. The review really highlights this. If you're a freelancer or a marketer doing cold outreach to Shopify owners, having this pre-sorted contact data is an absolute game changer that easily justifies the $27 entry price. Now let's shift gears for a second. Section 4. What the data is missing. We need to be exceptionally clear about this based on the source text. This database does not contain revenue data, sales volume, traffic estimates, or ad spend stats. If you're looking for some kind of magical dashboard that tells you exactly how many dollars a store made yesterday, well, this isn't it. Think of the data kit as a structured starting point for your exploration, not a fully blown intelligence suite like Niche Scraper or Dropship.io. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is seeing exactly who this is for. You should absolutely grab this if you're an e-commerce beginner, a dropshipper, a print-on-demand seller, or a freelancer who needs organized research and contacts. But you should totally skip it if you strictly need revenue data, ad stats, traffic estimates, or if you're just hunting for another step-by-step video course. Remember, it's purely a reference library of raw data. There's also a pretty critical warning highlighted in the review that you definitely need to know about. The vendor has a strict no-refund policy. Because this is a digital data product, meaning once you download that spreadsheet, you have the data forever, all sales are completely final. We just want to make sure you're fully informed and trust the process before you ever decide to open your wallet.
Which brings us to Section 5, the final verdict. The reviewer ultimately gives the Ecommerce Data Kit a very solid 4.0 out of 5 rating. The big takeaway here is that for a one-time fee of just $27, it provides a highly practical, incredibly structured reference library. Now, sure, it doesn't compete with those expensive $50 to $100 a month subscription tools when it comes to deep analytics, but it absolutely excels as an affordable, foundational research asset for beginners and freelancers alike. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, I'll leave you with one final provocative question. Are you ready to stop guessing and start researching? If you take absolutely nothing else away from today's explainer, let it be this: ditch the viral trend trap. It's time to use real, structured data to map out the density of your niche, actually study your competitors, and build your next e-commerce store on a firm foundation of reality. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and keep exploring.